is you deserve very little credit for being what you are. And remember, the people who come to you irritated, bigoted, unreasoning deserve very little credit for being what they are. What's up, you guys? Eric here, back with another episode of Some Books and Some Coffee. If you're new here, I hope you enjoy. Sorry about that elongated pause. I wasn't sure what I was going to say. I wasn't sure how I would greet the newcomers, but yes, we are back. We are back today with a classic book. It's a great one. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm sure you heard of it if you are anywhere in the book world, but it's right there by a young fella. He's not young anymore. Dale Carnegie. This book sold over 15 million copies. And I've actually read it in the past, so I might be cheating a little bit here on my 10-minute rule. But to fill people in, I read a book for 10 minutes. I fast-pace it. You'll see it in the video. I will read a book in 10 minutes, and then I will summarize what I've just read in layman's terms, not in really high-level stuff. I just want to break it down, give you easy-to-digest content, something that you can walk away with and incorporate into your day today. So that's what I'm about to do. How to Win Friends, Influence People. Great self-help book. Great book for success. Great book for sales. Overall, I think it's a great book to read, and I would highly recommend it if you have the chance to pick it up. I'll have the link down below if you're interested in checking it out. I believe this will be my first ever Books and Coffee episode on YouTube. So check out the video copy. Check out the video version. Or if you're watching on YouTube, check out the audio version if you're trying to get a little weird, okay? So without any further ado, without any more of an intro than that, let's get into the 10 minutes of reading. I'll see you in a second. Peace. Oh, what's up, you guys? We're back. I just got done reading. It was good. Oh, what's up, guys? We are back from reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like I said, I dive in for 10 minutes, and I just read. I kind of speed read. I kind of skim. I kind of do a mixture. If you want to learn how I read so effectively, let me know, and I'll make a video about it. I'll explain how I do it, or I'll make a podcast episode about it. Either one. That's totally cool. So how to win friends and influence people. Let's just dive into it. Normally, I first just go to the table of contents, and I will find a section or a chapter title or something that sticks out to me, something that I really want to dive into, something that just pulls me in. And it usually happens. I mean, it happens every single time I'll read through a table of contents. I'll be like, that's the one. That's the chapter. But these chapters in this book are actually fairly short, so I actually got to read 2 chapters today, so you're welcome. The first one I read, and the first chapter I was pulled to, was The Secret of Socrates. And I want to take a little digress here and talk about philosophy a little bit. I don't think enough people in our generation are reading philosophy. I think philosophy's been so disregarded almost, like we feel like we know what's going on, but these people literally studied thought for like thousands of years. They were studying thought in ancient Greece. So you got Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, Augustine, all these great philosophers that have really studied human nature and human consciousness and kind of found up some conclusions and some loops. But Socrates in particular had a very unique method of how he would go about conversations and arguments, right? He would never point out or tell someone that they're wrong. He would only get them to agree or say yes to multiple questions. Even if they were wrong in some way, if he was arguing or something, he would get his opponent, or whoever you would call a colleague or whatever who was arguing with him, he would get them to say yes to maybe an absurd one that you just can't say no to. Do you want to live? Yes, of course. Eventually, he'd kind of keep upping these yeses until the person was agreeing to something that they had already been disagreeing with. And next thing they know, they're on his side. This was kind of the power of persuasion of Socrates. So, you guys, philosophy is great. I love it. I have a couple books on it, and I'm more than happy to share them with you. They're a little bit harder to kind of digest a little bit. They're a little bit harder to kind of talk about because they take a lot more thinking. than just 10 minutes of reading. You can't just like blast through a philosophy book. You got to really take your time with it. But if you're interested in anything like that, there's a couple that I have on my head that I've read, and I would love to go back and read and share with you guys. So let me know if you'd be interested. Philosophy is really great. So without further ado, let's just read the first section here. He says, in talking with people, don't begin by discussing the things on which you differ. Begin by emphasizing and keep on emphasizing the things which you agree. Keep emphasizing, if possible, that you are both striving for the same end, and that your only difference is one of method and not of purpose. So don't ever disagree with someone's purpose in life. That is a big no-no. You will, they'll come at you with fury and vengeance. I promise you that. I've been down that road. You think you know more than they do, or you think that, they're going for the wrong goals. You don't know anything, man. Never question someone's purpose, because I do think we are all kind of aiming for a similar thing, but we all choose different avenues to get there. So to each his own, right? To each his own. Some great advice. He says a no response. So if someone says no outright in an argument, in a sales call, in anything, a no outright, according to Professor Overstreet, is a most difficult handicap to overcome. When you have said no, all your pride and personality demands that you remain consistent with yourself. So once you get that first no, you are pretty much toasted, unless you're like a beast persuasion person, like Socrates maybe, huh? Even Socrates, like I said, he's trying to get that yes, and we'll go into that in a second. But try your best to stay away from that no. Do not ask a question that's too hard to answer. That like if it's a 50-50 no, 50-50 yes, dude, do not ask that question. You want like a 90% yes question up front. You do not want to start off with a no. You're going to be hurdling. You're going to be, freaking dragging your legs to get them to agree to you. So once having said a thing, is just kind of moving on towards that no, you feel you must stick to it. Hence, it is of the very greatest importance that a person be started with an affirmative direction. When a person says no and really means it, he or she is doing far more than saying a word of just 2 letters. The entire organism, granular, nervous, muscular, gathers itself together into a condition of rejection. The whole neuromuscular system he says, the whole neuromuscular system, in short, sets itself on guard against acceptance when someone comes out with no. But when someone comes out with a yes, none of these things happen. The organism is in a forward-moving, accepting, open attitude. So maybe it's just the way you frame the question. Maybe it's not even the questions that you ask necessarily. So let's move a little bit forward. I'm kind of moving. I digress here. Let's move into the Socrates method, huh? Socrates, the gadfly. Is that a gadfly of Athens? Huh. Was one of the greatest philosophers the world had ever known. He did something that only a handful of men in all history were able to do. He sharply, for centuries, changed the whole course of human thought. And now, 24 centuries after his death, he's honored as one of the wisest persuaders who influenced this wrangling world. His method, did he tell people they were wrong? Oh, no. No. God damn it. Not Socrates. He was far too adroit for that. I've never used that word. I don't even know what it means, but it sounds kind of cool. Adroit. He was far too adroit for that. His whole technique, now called the Socrates Method, is that yes method I was talking about. And then, so I won't say that again, but then they move into a nice Chinese proverb or a Chinese saying. He says, he who treads softly goes far. So get the yes. Start off early with a good mental attitude. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't read philosophy, if you don't read ancient Greek philosophy, I know it's hard to read. I know it's hard. Guys, I know it's hard. But once you get into it, once you start understanding what they're trying to say, it's mind-blowing. The information they had on just human nature, it's still applicable today. It's always going to be applicable. They studied human thought for thousands of years, and this thing now that was so praised back then has just trickled off. Is like, if you're studying philosophy in college, you're like, what are you gonna do with that? How you can make money? Now we're all about money. But back then it was all about trying to figure out this crazy thing we got up here. So if you have the chance, check out philosophy. I'm serious. It's a huge win. It's just gonna blow your mind. I promise. It's gonna blow your mind. So the next chapter I went to, and this one was a little bit shorter, it's about what everybody wants. What does everybody want? What do you guys think, huh? Money? Do they want cars? Do they want the clothes? They want to be fashionable. They want to be famous. Let's hear what Dale Carnegie says. He says, okay. I got ahead of myself. I'll be honest. He says here, this is what he says, and he doesn't say this is what everybody wants, but he says that 3/4 of the people you will ever meet are hungering and thirsting for sympathy. Give it to them, and they will love you. He goes back into saying, like, at the beginning, when you get in a discussion with somebody or anything like that, if someone's trying to tell you that you're wrong or like your product's shit, you have to say, you know what, I don't blame you one iota for feeling as you do. If I were you, I'd undoubtedly feel the same as you do. And this is actually something you can always say because it's always true, right? He says, if you were given the exact same situation, if you were them, you would feel the exact same way as them. And this is actually another point I'd like to talk about. This just brings us all closer. We are not that far apart. We are not that much more different. If you were put in a situation the same as somebody else, if you were brought up the same way they did, you would be the same person. Think about it. You're not that far off. You're not them, but if you were them, you can say, I undoubtedly would feel the same way as you. Of course, yeah, I would. And so he goes into saying, and this is actually a really great thing that he says, you deserve very little credit for being what you are. And remember, the people who come to you irritated, bigoted, unreasoning, deserve very little credit for being what they are. Feel sorry for the poor devils, pity them, sympathize with them, and say to yourself, there but for the grace of God, I go. And then he says, the 3/4 of people that are hungering for sympathy and understanding. What does everybody want? I think everybody wants to be understood. I think everybody wants someone to be able to understand them and show them the way. That's what I think. That's what I want. I want to be understood, and I want to, at a very root cause, have a purpose and live a flattering life, something that I really enjoy doing. That's basically the goal. And whatever method I need to take to get there, I am exploring now. How about that? So, you guys, I think that's about what I'll... So the biggest takeaway, the principle to take away is be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires because you're not that much different from them. This book's broken up to a lot of different categories, talking about how to win friends, how to influence people, how to get people to like you, how to get people to say yes. But really good. I mean, like I said, I skimmed through it, and he actually says at the very beginning, do not skim through this book. He kind of lays out some guidelines for how to get the most out of it. Is you want to read each chapter and digest it, come back to it, read different sections. But for the purpose of this, I kind of just ran through it to give you guys a brief understanding. But I appreciate you guys hanging around. I enjoyed the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know. And also, let me know what you guys want to learn about. I'll get the book. I'll read it. I'll let you know my thoughts. Dale Carnegie, great author, famous author. Check out the book if you haven't ever had the chance. It doesn't matter if you're in sales or whatever. It's a great life book. It's a great moral book. It's going to help you kind of see things in a different way. And I would like to take the time here. I know I might be running long, but I want to explain what's going on with this channel. I want to explain a little bit about what I'm trying to do here, because the channel name is called Mental Physiques. The podcast show is Books and Coffee, but Mental Physiques is all about the idea that you can't go to the gym and you can't lift one weight and expect to be like buff. It takes a long time to get buff. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time dedicated to it. It takes it doing it 3-4 times a week, maybe doing it every day. You have your diet in place, right? And I think the same thing is true with your mentality. I think the same thing is true with your mission and the ability to break through obstacles and barriers. So what this channel is about is building a mental physique as similar as it would be for building a body. Like I said, you can't just read one book. You can't just read this book and your life's changed forever. It doesn't work like that. It might work for a little bit. It's like going to a seminar. You might be pumped up for like 3 months, but eventually, you're going to fall back again, and you need something else. You're always going to need something else. So keep reading. Read 3-4 times a week. Different books, different material, and it's going to help you craft this mindset and this ability to take on major challenges and overcome obstacles in your life, whatever they may be. It doesn't have to just be with your career. It can be with relationships. It can be financially. It can be any kind of endurance. It can be the endurance of a loss of a loved one. Philosophy is great for that. Psychology is great for that. So there's a lot of things that you can do to build out a mentality and just make you an overall great person to be around, and a great friend, and a great colleague. You can be more empathetic with people. It's just an amazing thing, and I want to share it with the world. So if you support it, if you like the idea, share this, like it, comment on it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for listening. Peace out.